Hey guys, it's me Letitia and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing this classic smoky eye look for you guys using all affordable makeup products. I know not everybody has the money for all the expensive stuff. I know I don't necessarily do. From the lashes to the eyes to the highlighter, all of this is super affordable. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then please keep watching. First thing that I'm going to do is prime my face, and I'm using the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. This was the one that I got from shophush.com. It looks like a cream, but when you put it on, it feels like a regular silicone primer. I actually put on this primer before work the other night, and it held up really well. My foundation stayed in place, and I usually get creasing in my laugh lines, my smile lines here, but I didn't really see any after the other day. So this next step is completely optional. You don't have to do this, but sometimes I like to put a powder on my face before foundation for a couple of reasons. So I'm going in with the Black Opal Deluxe finishing powder in the shade Dark, and I'm just gonna pat that all over the face. It's good for oil control if you have oily skin. 2, it evens out my complexion so I don't have to use as much foundation. I think it's a really good step to take if you want your foundation to last all day. Again, I'm going to take my She Total Control Drop Foundation, and I'm in the shade number 6, and I'm going to blend this out all over my face. I mentioned with the powder being all over my face, I don't really have to use as much foundation because it kind of evens everything out to begin with. Even though I do like this foundation so far, the smell of it, it kind of smells like a hair care product. I know that sounds really weird, but to me it reminds me of like some type of hair oil or something. So now for concealer, I'm going in with my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Fawn to highlight the center of my face. Then I'm going to blend that out, and I'm just using a foundation brush like this. So that was not blending the way I wanted to, so I'm just going to take my Real Technique brush and buff that out. So next we're going to set my concealer with the Sasha Buttercup setting powder instead of baking today. Just going to go ahead and just sweep that on underneath. So before we finish off the face, I'm going to move on to my lids. So I'm using the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Tan 50. With this concealer, you don't need much. I'm going to take a fluffy shadow brush like this and blend that out. I find that you do have to work kind of quickly with this concealer because it does dry really fast. And then again, I'm going to take that same powder just to set my concealer so that it stays in place, and it also makes my other eyeshadows easier to blend out. So when it comes to doing my smoky eyes, I like to do 2 transition colors. So it's like light medium to dark. That way my eye doesn't look so harsh. This one right here, I believe it's called Buttercup. It's from the Ofra Pro palette. They got the names on the back, but they're not on the actual pot, so I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure this is Buttercup. But I'm going to take a fluffy blending brush like this. And I actually used it earlier, so I'm going to clean it off and dip that into the shadow and put that into my crease as my first transition. I'm just going to focus it outward first and then work my way in, like small circular motions. So moving on to the next darkest shade for my transition, I'm going to take this Coastal Scents eyeshadow in the shade Oktoberfest, which is a warmer brown, and I'm going to take a more defined brush. This is a pencil brush, and I'm going to make sure to put this directly into my crease so it falls right up under that first shade, so you can kind of see how they layer and blend at the same time. But I'm going to make sure to put this right into my crease here. It's kind of like I'm carving it out, and then once I get it where I want, I'm just going to go ahead and blend it. For my black color, I'm going to take the City Mini Palette times Shayla, and I'm going to take this black right here and put that all over the lid. You do want to be very careful with this step because you don't want to mess this up. Once you mess this up, you do have to start over. So you kind of want to go in with a light hand first whenever you're using a black color, and then slowly build it on. I'm going to use a flat brush like this one. This is a e.l.f. shadow brush. I'm just going to lightly dip that into the black and just slowly build it up. As you can see, it's really dark and pigmented, so I want to take my time with this step. Now, I don't necessarily have a mono lid, but my lid is very small, so I want to be careful when it comes to putting on this black shadow so that it doesn't cover up my transition color. So I always like to start a little bit lower and work my way up. And you can build this up as much as you like. If you don't want it to be extremely dark, you don't have to. You can always use a brown shade or whatever shade you like, really, but my favorite is using black. So again, I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm actually going to blend the top part of that black up into the crease as well, and this will act like my kind of like my third transition. So this part is optional, but I'm going to take this kind of reddish brown shade, and I'm using the same blending brush, and I'm going to very lightly tap it into that color, like kind of on its side. And I'm also going to sweep that into my transition as well, just to add a little bit of warmth to the eye, and it'll kind of help pull those first two brown shades together. And I'm going in with a very light hand. I'm just lightly dusting that onto my eye. So whatever I do up top, I like to do something along the bottom, but instead of putting the black under my eye, I'm going to go in with that same brown shade using a pencil brush, that reddish brown, and I'm going to dip that into, or dip into that with my pencil brush and sweep that along the bottom part of my eye. That way it's smoky, but it's not too black along the bottom. And I kind of want to intensify the black a little bit more, so I'm just going to take my finger, I'm going to take my pinky here and go back into that black shade and place it directly on my eye to get it a little bit darker. I'm actually patting it onto my eye. I'm not trying to rub it or anything like that. I'm going to apply a little bit of mascara. I'm using the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara. I'm taking these top lashes I got from AliExpress. I've worn these a few times on my channel, but they're literally $1 and they're really pretty. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these on off camera and I will be right back. But now I'm going to take my Great Lash Mascara again and put it on my bottom lashes so that I can have like that really like wide open baby doll look. So of course you guys know no look is complete until I highlight my inner corners. So I'm going back in with that same City Mini palette and I'm going to take this dark gold right here and put that in my inner corners to brighten that up. So now back to the face, I'm going to contour and I'm using my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Press Powder here in Cocoa. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight, which is one of my favorite things to do, and I'm actually taking my Carli Bybel palette here from BH Cosmetics. This is the first one she came out with, and I'm going to use my absolute favorite highlighter shade, which is this dark copper shade right here. And I'm using this tapered brush and I'm just going to dip that in there, really put that along my cheekbones. I really like this color because it gives me that glow from within. It doesn't look like it's sitting on top of my face, and I like to blend it as I go. I go in with this highlighter, like I do not hold back when it comes to this one in particular, because it's like that perfect deep copper. So I'm gonna get started with my NYX liner in Chestnut first. I'm gonna pull in the color a little bit. And then to top it off, I'm going to take my favorite gloss. This is Ginger Snap by NYX, and just put this right over top. This is perfect for like a night out. Just put on a gloss, that way it doesn't take much to touch up. So this is the final look. I hope you guys like this look. I am really feeling this highlighter right here. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications so you can keep up with my videos. All the information, all the products that I use in this video will be down in the description box below, as well as my personal information, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.